but how important was it for y'all to like connect with entertainers and share y'all?
That's,
you know what I mean?
that's what it's rooted. The first lesson I ever wrote on financial literacy was about Jay-Z.
Oh, wow.
Because we grew up with him. Like I told you when I saw you the other night, I'm like, yo, you know you was on my door when I was growing up.
Oh, wow.
Like my mom, I got the picture, I'm gonna show you.
God damn it, make some noise for me. God damn it.
I walked in, I said, yo, I love the Bo Jacksons,
yeah, that's right.
orange
You got
and blue.
one too. I need a pair.
Because that's what you meant to me, right?
That's
Like, and I'm like, yo, this is my guy. And so like when I was thinking, like me and him had this connection where it was like we would hear lyrics, but we wasn't hearing them the same way everybody else was. We had the ability to decode the message. And so I wrote the first lesson I wrote was All Black Skies Sports and Entertainment. Like he wrote that in '96, the first song on
Jay-Z line.
Reasonable Doubts, the first song. I'm like, yo, damn, in 2010 is he right? Like if we look at the people who we think are successful, what avenues do they come from? I'm like, yo, damn, was he profound enough to know that that was what we was gonna see 20 years later, and then for him to change that? And so hip hop has always been us. That's why I said this is really the evolution of hip hop, right? Like we watch people entertain, we've seen y'all become like, look at this is business.
And really it's going back to the root of hip hop. You understand me?
I didn't think hip hop was gonna get this smart. Like to tell you, I'm so sorry. Like you know,
come on. Let's
be clear.
I didn't think it was gonna get this dumb.
No. You talking about the music? You talking about the music? I ain't talking about the music. I'm talking about maybe in its totality. But I'm saying there's a lot of great businessmen that are doing a lot of great shit on the business-wise now, because especially podcasts. Like podcasts made it so we didn't.
But you didn't think Russell back then, what he was doing was insane?
Yeah. I'm saying I'm adding on to that. Yeah, I'm saying that.
But even the Dame Dashes and things of that nature, there was always shining examples. It never became the predominant culture. But they was always trying to make sure that they did not become the predominant culture, because now they can't eat off you. In this country, right, we've always, like, if you look at the history of black people in America, we are some of the most inventive, innovative people that ever exist in the history of time. Like, it was a black man that created the doorknob, to the stoplight, to the filament in the light bulb. But you don't think about black men and women in that respect, right? Because it's not narrated like that. Why? Because we don't own media and we don't own the education systems, right? If we educated each other based on what our actual contributions are and the things that we do and the important people within our culture, that becomes our culture. Our thing is that we are the talent, but we don't own the talent, right? We are the culture, we don't own the culture. So somebody else is always managing our spirit and our energy and our bodies. I mean, but that shit just goes back to slavery, right? We were the talent. We were the ones that was doing all the production. There was a brother that was creating the cotton gins and different inventions, but people were stealing the patents and utilizing your labor. It's the same thing with hip hop. It's the same thing with the workforce, right? Spiritually, the essence of hip hop is the most influential on the planet Earth, right? But financially, we don't own nor control none of that shit. Right? So if we can keep you uneducated, then we can control you. Right? That's what we was talking about with the contracts and the legalese. Brothers don't know nothing about that, but when you go back to hip hop started off the gods in the earth. It started off peace God instead of what's up, nigga. You understand me? It started off with kings and queens instead of niggas and bitches. So it reverted, and then that's when you was able to really control them, because if it was based on knowledge, then people want to learn. If it's based on ignorance, then people are satisfied with not knowing, and they just get a look. So people want to look successful, but they never learn the actual business of success. So now we at this point, if you look at every other culture, their wealth standard is steeped in education. Whether it's the Jewish, they look at education as the key. The Asian community, which has the highest, grossing households in America, specifically the East Indian, education is the key. The way the Hispanics are growing right now, education. So for black people in America, and I'm not just talking about that college education that people are getting, because that's never prepared us. Right? We've given that a go. We've given millions and millions of dollars to these colleges, and we just told people to go, but we never really told them how to attain the skill sets for financial wealth. Right? And what we're doing is saying that, all right, listen, you don't need to go 4 years to learn how to build wealth. You understand me? You can learn that just by listening, sitting down with a coach, or educating yourself on YouTube. The game is changing with artificial intelligence and all sort of things. So we so behind, even when we catch up, we're still behind. You understand me? Because what we catching up to is the shit that people are already pivoting from. So we have to not only be educated, but we have to be efficient with what we do. With media and what we have right now, we have an opportunity to create a conglomerate to where, the only thing that we listen to is the things that we report. right? Outside the media is controlled by whatever forces, institutions, and powers. But when it's people of the culture, we listen to that. When we want somebody smart, we can find them in the culture. We want a scientist, an engineer, an intellect, whatever it is. We have all of that. And when I say the culture, I'm talking about that ethnic background of people who share those same common values, who want that liberation, who want that wealth, who want that power. The people who don't want it, that's not my people. They just look like me, but they don't think like me, feel like me, and move like me. And we have to be able to concentrate our effort and our energy on those who are alike.
And I think also, like what you guys said as far as the packaging. Right. The packaging was very important because it's like the messenger is more important than the message. We're not the first people to ever talk about financial literacy, but we're the first people that really, at scale, did it in a way that was so relatable.
I remember me coming up and me seeing rich people, they used to have their sneakers fucked up. They were like, they didn't really care about showing money, like, but, you know what I mean?
Because, but you also got to understand, like, our background. Like, I always say, like, I had to learn business, but I didn't have to learn culture. Right. I am culture. Like, I grew up in it. Like, War Report, I could recite that album from
goddamn, make some noise for that.
That shit, like, even just coming here, like, I got a photographic memory, so it's like gumbo, but I remember buying throwback jerseys on 145th Street.
Right. That's right. Yes.
So it's like, nah, but that's really inside of us.
Real talk.
That's really inside of us. Like, so you don't gotta. But for a long time, we thought we had to compromise ourselves and be like, okay, in order to be taken serious, I got to change the way I talk. I have to it's nothing wrong with putting a suit on, but if we don't want to wear a suit, we don't have to wear a suit. Like, you know what I'm saying? We can still have a very high level of intelligence, but not compromise who we are as people. So the hip hop, that's just us. So now what happens is that people see us and they like, damn, that's really relatable. Like, I can actually achieve that. So it's like now the sanitation worker is on his app trading stocks. Like, you know what I'm saying? The guy that's working a 9 to 5 is giving an inspiration because it's like for a long time you thought, okay, you got to go to Harvard. It's over your head. You got to be a super, IQ genius. But we breaking all of those barriers, and it's worldwide. So when we go to London and thousands of people come out because people have been disenfranchised for a long time all over the world. Jamaica, London, Nigeria, all of that. It's like a pyramid. Like, people at the top keep power to themselves, keep information to themselves, and they keep the people on the bottom ignorant, and they keep them entertained. They keep them entertained with sports and entertainment and just, everyday nonsense. But now it's like, okay, you can still have sports and entertainment. We love that as well. But we're going to have some education as well. And now you got to take it serious.
He said we went to London. I don't think y'all missed that part. At the Royal Albert Hall, which is one of the most prestigious venues in the world, and we talked about financial education, and it was sold out with 3,000 plus people.
That makes some noise for that.
Yeah, because they try to make it seem like
get a horn.
There we go.
What we do is not normal, but we're normalizing it. You understand me? But we still want people to understand that this is the highest level of excellence that we achieving as young black men. So when we selling out different places and you have crowds of people like it is a concert outside because we're changing the narrative around that, that has to be reported and respected and observed. That's the way you change it. You understand me? But if it's like, okay, they always doing something, right? Then therefore people don't see it as special. They don't see it as obtainable. They don't see it as, damn, this is a blueprint that we setting across the planet Earth. We may be some of the flyest young gentlemen that has ever been born. That don't mean that you can't step on shoes. Being from Oakland, I feel like, Oakland, I feel like even the dirtiest person in Oakland, even the most ignorant person in Oakland gonna have some level of knowledge of self. Because of the culture of Oakland is history.
Everybody pop their collar.
Everybody know how to move a certain way. You understand me? And they know how to talk. Right? Because Oakland is one of the meccas of game. Right? So you learn how to be able to communicate and how to speak and how to see through the bullshit. But also, the home of the Panthers and all of the different movements. Crack came from Oakland. You understand me? So growing up in Oakland, you learn about this. So it's very hard to be ignorant of the way that the world is and works and what's your position as a black man. So whatever you take with that style, the same way from Brooklyn or New York, these are very specific and different type of places. You understand me? That whatever is brewed from there is going to have culture and consciousness already in it. Right? And especially when you throw in being a Muslim and being masculine, when you show up and present yourself is going to be with power. I'm not trying to acquiesce to the way the standards have been before me. I want to create something new. So those who look at me and be like, yo, if 19 Keys can do it, then I can do it. Right? Like, I've been through the streets. I done had the cases. I done did all of the things that will give you an excuse to be like, well, he had this, that, and the third. No. I've been through the same trappings, but it was the knowledge that got me out of it, the perspective, the experience. So therefore, we're setting an example to say that all black men on the planet Earth can stand up and be themselves without having to bow down to the power structure.